Hello and welcome to the 30k channel, a channel dedicated to games set in the Horus Heresy. I'm your host, David Brains, and we welcome back Alistair. Good morning, Alistair.
Morning.
Good to have him back. Alistair and I are filming the third part in our 6-part series campaign. Oof, so many to do. Alistair, can you remind us where we are, please?
So, this set of 6 games is set on the world of Alpha Garmin. This is in the kind of sector around Beta Garmin. And so Beta Garmin, obviously a really big battle in the Horus Heresy. It's the gateway to Terra. This is where Horus has kind of thrust all his forces to kind of then move on to the Sol system, take Terra. And Alpha Garmin is a kind of system near to that. And what Horus does at the start of that battle is kind of send a bunch of raiding forces in to basically kind of harry the areas around Beta Garmin to really split those Imperial forces out. And so my Sons of Horus army is one of those forces that has kind of gone into raid. And so in the first game, we kind of landed on Alpha Garmin, shot down our Thunderhawk, captured that Thunderhawk. That kind of led to some information. So we kind of then went to that like kind of abandoned facility where apparently there was something exciting. We couldn't tell what it was from the information that we recovered, but apparently there was something interesting. And then we kind of were able to hold on to those objectives. So we kind of captured the entranceway to this. And so this leads into our next game just now, when something is interesting down in the bunker, but we don't know what it is yet.
Well, you know, the forces in front of us will kind of give you a bit of an idea what's happened. So, so Alistair was right. You know, that abandoned moon base concealed a underground complex, which is the zone we're fighting now. And because the should say spoiler alert before we go any further. If you haven't watched the 2 games, go back and watch the first 2. So we're going to progress the story now. So if you haven't watched them, go and watch the first 2.
Absolutely.
So what's happened now is the Sons of Horus have won both games, haven't you? You've got the advantage in both the first and second game. We do not want that to happen anymore. So they've got the advantage in this, and you'll see the board very shortly, but you have managed to get a cheeky little entranceway right into the heart of this mission.
Absolutely, yeah. So there's a prison complex. And in that prison complex are 2 psychers. Now, when this raiding fleet arrived at Alpha Garmin, there was a black ship, Sister Silent's black ship. Now, this was a ship that was kind of collecting psychers from around the Sol system, because at this point, the Emperor's starting to kind of gather psychers to him for the Golden Throne. And this ship couldn't escape because it was kind of cut off by kind of the Horus's forces. So rather than escape, it kind of went to ground, and all of the psychers were transported into the surface of Alpha Garmin. And 2 of the kind of most alpha level dangerous psychers have been kind of, at the minute, they're held in these facilities underground, and that's what we've found as we've kind of gone down these entranceways. And so we've kind of got a big head start on the Mechanicum forces and the Iron Hands forces in kind of surrounding that facility, and we're going to capture those psychers.
So Horus wants these alpha level psychers for his own effort, for his assault on Terra. As Alistair mentioned, this is a holding pen for the black ships to then take them to Terra to use for the Emperor. Now, because the Mechanicum are essentially loyalists, and because they lost the last 2 games, their forces are massively depleted. So Ortec Moore, the Iron Hands, who's helped protecting the or help escorting the Sisters of Silence with the alpha level psychers, they're assisting. They've called out for help. They've received word from Mechanicum. Mechanicum have sent some forces in via the long way round, I guess, because we didn't take hold of the objective in the last game. So they're assisting the Ortec Moore and his Iron Hands, and then protecting the alpha level psychers. We've got 4 Sisters of Silence. So we always need a Sister of Silence to go with an alpha level psycho. If not, they'll do something nasty. So we've got a bit of a ragtag force from the Imperials. You know, their forces have been scattered, and the whole objective of today's mission is the Sons of Horus have got to capture 1 or both of the psychers, and get them off the world via the the Raven Guard Thunderhawk gunship.
The Thunderhawk Breach, is
Yes.
kind of sat at the minute being refueled in this prison complex.
Yeah.
And so, conveniently for the Sons of Horus, they've kind of seen that as a way to escape once they've got these psychers.
Absolutely. And the Sons of Horus have struck at the most opportune moment, because the sisters are getting ready to transport these Alpha Ledger cycles off planet. That's why the Thunderhawk's being refueled. The Iron Hands are gathered in a formation ready to escort the sisters and the Alpha level psychers onto the Thunderhawk. But Alistair struck at the most perfect time.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's going to be a bit of a desperate struggle and a bit of a ragtag force, as I mentioned earlier, from the Imperials. The Sisters of the Silence and the Iron Hands are very central to the board, and the Mechanicum have started off. They've come in via the hangar entrance, I guess. So they've got a bit of ground to make up, but they might be perfectly timed to meet the Sons of Horus as they blitz through and get onto the Thunderhawk. So I think it's going to be quite a desperate struggle.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I think obviously you're on the back foot slightly, but you do have a better defensive position because I need to come to you in many ways. You can kind of wait around and kind of get in a good position. But
Alistair's forces are represented by some very, very elite units.
Exactly, yeah. So to join my army from the last couple of games, obviously because we're in Zone Mortalis, all the vehicles, all the bikes, all the land speeders, they can't go in there, and so that's all been dropped out. So we were kind of left with 2 units of veterans and a delegatus who's now become a chaplain in this game. And joining them now are some really elite Sons of Horus forces. So we've got 2 Contemptors, a unit of Justerin, who are one of the best units of Terminators in the game.
Brilliant.
And finally, we have a Praetor.
Oh, yeah.
Who's kind of come down. He's got he's tooled up. He's ready to go. He's an angry dude with some serious issues.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm excited to kind of finally get him out.
It will be really, really good. We're playing Zone Mortalis as well. There is no Cold in the Void because we're essentially just underground, so there's no major rules there that we're going to use. We are going to use the rule that all the doors are locked to the Centaurus, but they are open to the Loyalist forces. However, there are several computer consoles dotted around the complex, and if you start your beginning of your turn on a console, you can open or close the door, and that goes for both of us. We can do that. But if not, Alistair will need to destroy the doors, and they're armor 13. It can be either done in the shooting or the combat phase. For me, I need to repel the Sons of Horus, but you need to kind of capture them and break the prisoners out of their cells and take them to the Thunderhawk.
And we should probably mention as well what happens when you kill the Sisters of Silence.
I was about to come on to that, absolutely. So at any point during the game, when all 4 Sisters of Silence are slain, immediately after the last one loses its last wound and dies, a massive psychic shriek goes out from both of the psychers. It's 24 inches from each of them. And we said it was D6, strength 6, AP 5.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And vehicles are hit on their side armor. And then just a quick example, if there's a unit within, if the bubble encapsulates 2 units, they'll only get hit once. It's a bit unfair to have both units struck. So
it just kind of represents the Sisters of Silence are really suppressing these psychers, and they're not kind of trained psychers, so they can't really control what they're doing. They're just kind of, it's a shout of rage from the psychers, and it kind of hits everyone indiscriminately.
Exactly right, it hits everyone, and that's the key point. But at some point, though, the Sons of Horus will have to bite that bullet because they need to escort them out of those cells into the Thunderhawk. So that will have to happen at some point because you'll need to kill the Sisters of Silence. Hopefully not, but maybe. And I might even get them out of the cells and move them around myself, because realising that the attack is happening. So we might try and move them around. And the victory conditions for this game is that Alistair needs a unit and one of the psychers to be within 3 inches of the Thunderhawk. And then it's a win for him. If at the end of the game, I will play to 5 turns and we'll do a random 6th. If there are no psychers within 6 inches of that Thunderhawk with the Sons of Horus accompanying them, then it's a win for the Imperials. So it's just purely a win or loss here. No kill points, no Warlord, no attrition.
Fancy stuff.
It's a desperate struggle, and that's the story that we're trying to tell here. I think it's going to be a really exciting and dynamic game. There's 4 different forces on the board here.
Yeah, really, really exciting.
And it's really cool. We've already got 1,500 points. So I've got 1,500 points of Iron Hands, Sisters of Silence, and Mechanicum. You've got 1,500 points of pure elite Sons of Horus. One quick thing before we go, we must say thank you very much to Philip Ledbetter to loaning us the Psychers and the Sisters of Silence. He sent them to me in the post the other day, so thank you, Philip, for doing that. I really appreciate it. It's really brought this story to life, and I've got loads of sisters in a box, but I did not have time to paint them. So
that's someone like you.
Yeah, very true. But Philip has got a really awesome sisters army. You have seen it on the channel probably about a year ago now. We're desperately trying to get him back, but he's a very busy boy. But we're going to try and get Philip back and showcase his sisters, because they are such an awesome, unique force. And so we're looking forward to that. Alistair, I'm genuinely excited for this game.
Me too. You know, I really think we've kind of gone all out with the story, the narrative here. You know, I think it might be one of the most narrative games I've played. So I'm really excited to kind of play that through. I
think so. And this game will exclusively go out onto YouTube. And the whole point we're doing this is we really want to showcase what the channel can do. And we would love you on YouTube to go to the 30kchannel.com and subscribe and watch all of the Heresy games on there. You know, this channel is purely Heresy, and we've just started Adeptus Titanicus, and there are some amazing boards and amazing armies drawn from the community, like Alistair. And
very handsome players.
Oh, of course, yeah. Lots of bearded players. It seems to be the fashion. I think I'll go against the grain with the old clean cut, but...
yeah, you need to... You know, Heresy players have beards.
They do. Need to embrace the Heresy beard. Yeah, so there's some really awesome games and armies on the channel. We'd love you to go there and have a taster on YouTube, then go to the channel and have a watch. So if you're keen, please do that. Let's get on with it. Let's work out exactly what are in these forces to tell the story, and we'll see at the beginning of turn 1. 2,000 points of Loyalists, a ragtag band of Sisters of Silence, Iron Hands, and Mechanicum. The Warlord is Ortec Moore, and his Warlord trait is Murderous Arsenal. The Sisters of Silence have been drawn from the Vigilator cadre. There are 4 Sisters of Silence Vigilators. They are equipped with Execution Blades, Bolt Pistol, Frag Crack and Psych Out Grenades, and Varantine Armour. They will be escorting the Alpha level Psychers in this game. They also have a special rule called Death Mark, which essentially gives them preferred enemy when attacking a particular unit or character, and they have selected the Sons of Horus Praetor as their death marked. Leading the Imperial forces into Zone Mortalis is the HQ Ortec Moore. He's equipped in Cataphractii Terminator armor, has a servo arm, Cortex controller, Paragon blade, and Volkite charger. His Warlord trait is Murderous Arsenal, and he is the Warlord of the Loyalist faction. The first troops choice for the Iron Hands contingent is a 10-man squad of Medusan Immortals. There are 2 melter guns in the squad. The veteran sergeant is equipped with artificer armor and a melter bomb, and everyone who's not carrying a melter gun is equipped with a Volkite charger. Is a Contemptor dreadnought. He's equipped with a chain fist with an inbuilt melter gun and a Carey's pattern assault cannon. The Magos Reductor has been very generous and sent forward 3 squads of 4 Thalax. They are all equipped with melter bombs. 1 is equipped with a photon thruster. They have been upgraded to take the Destructor special rule, which gives them tank hunters. There are 3 squads of 4.
1,500 points of Sons of Horus, leading the assault into the prison complex in Zone Mortalis. The Sons of Horus are led by a Praetor. The Praetor is armed with a bolt pistol, a Paragon blade, which has been mastercrafted, and an iron halo. The Praetor is joined by a Chaplain. The Chaplain is armed with artificer armour, bolt pistol, and a refractor field. The Warlord trait for the Praetor is Coordinated Assault, which allows him and units within 12 inches to re-roll hit rolls of 1 in the assault phase. Thanks to the Pride of the Legion Rite of War, both my troops choices can be filled with veterans. I have 2 units of veterans, both of which are armed with 1 plasma gun and 3 combi plasmas. 1 of the combi plasmas is on the sergeant. 1 sergeant is armed with a power fist, the other a power axe. Both squads are equipped with melter bombs. The first 2 elites choice for the Sons of Horus are 2 Contemptor dreadnoughts. Both are identically armed with a Carey's assault cannon, a dreadnought chain fist, and an inbuilt graviton gun. Rounding off the Sons of Horus forces, there's 5 Justarian Terminators, 3 of which are equipped with power fists. 1 is equipped with a multi-melter and a chain fist, and the sergeant is also equipped with the chain fist.
Alistair. The Sons of Horus have gotten into a fantastic outflanking position on the cells containing the alpha level psychers. And the reason why Alistair was able to do that was because he won the mission in turn 2 and he's got down into the opportune position.
Yep, there were 2 entrance ways and there's 2 flanks.
And this is it. And don't forget as well, the Sons of Horus have caught the Iron Hands in the process of transporting the prisoners, the psychers, into the back of the Raven Guard Thunderhawk. So you've struck at the perfect moment.
Absolutely, yeah. And you kind of Mechanicum guys are struggling to kind of run up and defend. Yeah,
they've started to make their way through to join the elements of the Iron Hands, but they're not quite there yet. So you've got a bit of advantage to get into the cells and get stuck into those sisters and capture the alpha level psychers. The Iron Hands will need to redirect.
Absolutely, yeah.
Be a bit of a desperate struggle. It's worth mentioning that there is a Raven Guard Thunderhawk in the complex here, but it just represents how much of a desperate struggle it is to get these psychers to terror. And elements have managed to of the Imperial Army and the Astartes worldwide or planetary-wide have sent forces in to help with this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's so much kind of scattered in the kind of Bear Garment sectors and sectors around it that, it's kind of whatever they can get, really.
Yeah. Everyone's pitched in to get these psychers off because they are so powerful. So what happened was that the Sisters and the Iron Hands deployed first, then the Sons of Horus deployed after, and then the Mechanicum deployed last. Sons of Horus are going first.
Absolutely.
There is no siege because it's thematic that the Sons of Horus have made the assault and they're going in for the kill. And then it'll just be the Imperial forces kind of struggling to strike against the Sons of Horus.
Struggling already.
Of course. I'm really looking forward to this.
Me too.
Good luck to you.
Thanks.
Let's find out. Well, you don't need it. I need it. Let's find out what happens.
Sons of Horus, turn 1 movement. Both sides of the outflanking units have raced into the centre of the battlefield to try and outflank the Contemptor. Hopefully we'll be able to destroy some of the doors and get some shots off on the Contemptor. At the back of the board, a unit of veterans and a Contemptor have moved round. They're going to smash into the prison cells, kill the Sisters of Silence and get those psychers. Sons of Horus, turn 1 shooting phase. Things started with the Contemptor. First of all, it tried its Keres cannon to take out the door. All hit, not a single 6 was rolled. Moving on to the Graviton gun, it shot, got a single glancing hit. Perfect. Doors destroyed. At the back of the board, the veterans and the Contemptor ran. Incredibly, both rolling 6s. That's great news for being able to open the door for next turn, and the Contemptor will burst in and slaughter those Sisters of Silence. Sons of Horus, turn 1 assault phase. The Justeran were looking very vulnerable. There was 2 units of Thalax at the bottom of the corridor, both with photon thrusters. They would have done nasty things to the Justeran. So instead, they've charged one of the doors. With a mixture of chain fists and power fists, they've absolutely minced it. Both doors are now completely destroyed, leaving the Contemptor with some choices to make. End of Sons of Horus turn 1. It's been a very aggressive turn for the Sons. They've made some real big gains in threatening the Iron Hands forces, and at the back of the board, the Contemptor and the veterans are ready to get the prisoners. It's a really good start.
Loyalists turn 1 movement. Ortek Moore and his squad of Medusan Immortals are going to have moved to try and blunt that assault from the Sons of Horus elite Terminators, the Justeran. They are quite a frightening unit, those Justeran, with 2 wounds, so we need to put as much damage on them in the shooting phase. That Murderous Arsenal Warlord trait from Ortek Moore will come in handy, rerolling 1s to hit and to wound. The Contemptor decided to take on his counterpart. In combat, we're going to shoot the Keres and the Melter Gun and then charge it. But he has been supported by 1 photon thruster from the Thalax. Hopefully, now with the Destructor special roll onto the units of Thalax, they will get to re-roll their armor penetration, which will hopefully help because I have made some appalling rolls in the last couple of games with the photon thrusters. Around the Thunderhawk, the 2 units have just pushed up. They won't have line of sight for this turn, so they will use their jetpacks to full effect and thrust move further into the Zone Mortalis complex, trying to maneuver as fast as possible to help the System of Silence out for the impending threat from the Contemptor and the veterans from the Sons of Horus. On the whole, the game has got quite intense very, very quickly, so we're looking to peel out as many of those Justarian as we can. Loyalist turn 1 shooting. A huge amount of firepower came in from Ortec Moore's squad. There was 18 Volkite Charger shots, got 15 hits and 11 wounds, but only managed to cause 1 wound on the lead Justarian there, which was absolutely unbelievable. The 2 melter guns then opened up, got 2 hits, 2 wounds. The Murderous Arsenal Special were coming in handy from Ortec Moore, rerunning those 1s to wound, because I got 1-1 and 1-3, which was good. 2 wounds went in, but Alistair made an amazing 2 4-up saves. So only 1 wound caused on that Justarian squad, and that's got me very, very worried. The Iron Hands Contemptor opened up on its counterpart across the corridor there. The Carries went in with 5 hits, but no glancing or penetrating hits went through. That was a real shame. The Melter Gun that opened up and missed on a roll of a 1. What a shame. The Thalax stood next to the refueling terminal for the Thunderhawk gunship, shot out into the Sons of Horus Contemptor with its photon thruster, got 2 hits and 2 glancing hits on the Contemptor. Alistair made one of his saves, so good on him, but put 1 whole point on the Sons of Horus Contemptor. The weapon also causes blind, but Alistair also passed his blind check. Not a bad result. It would have been nice to put at least 2 whole points on that Contemptor before the Iron Hands Contemptor charges it, but I'll take it nonetheless. Loyalist turn 1 assault phase. Had some really tough decisions to make. I wasn't going to charge the Immortals with Ortec Moore into the Cataphracti, but I think it's probably best to get it done and tie that unit up as long as possible if we can. Even if I lose them, it might be worth it. But the Contemptor declared a charge against the other Contemptor and made it in, and the Immortals and Ortec Moore have made it into the Cataphracti. Combat between Ortec Moore, the Immortals, the Praetor and the Justarian. Ortec Moore declared a challenge, of which the Sons of Horus Praetor accepted. We're now going to start at Initiative 5 with the Praetor. In the challenge at Initiative 5, the Sons of Horus Praetor went in with 5 attacks, got 3 hits and scored 2 Murderous Strike and 1 wound. Ortec Moore braved the saves with his Cataphracti Terminator armour, but failed one of the saves, unfortunately, and he was killed by instant death. Then one of the wounds that was saved was good, and then 1 wound carried over into an Immortal, and that also killed an Immortal. So a really bad start for the Iron Hands, but they will get to attack first before the Sons of Horus. At Initiative 4, the Immortals struck in with 18 attacks, getting 12 hits and 6 wounds. It was just enough, though, to take the final wound off one of this Justarian. So not a bad return. We just now need to pray that the boarding shields hold fast against those Power Fist attacks. At Initiative 1, the Justarian went in with 8 Power Fist attacks, 6 hits, and it was enough to kill 3 of the Iron Hands Immortals. They have lost the combat, and they failed their leadership test and ran 11 inches, which was a bit of a shame there. But the Sons of Horus consolidated 6 inches, and I assume that they have consolidated position to be available to charge in the next turn and finish that squad off. So bit of a bad fight there from the Iron Hands. I had hoped to stay in combat for a little bit longer with Ortec Moore, but again, it's looking desperate for the Loyalists. The traitors look like they're going to come away with this, but let's see if they can reach the Psychos or not.
Sons of Horus, turn 2 movement. The Sons of Horus veterans used the command console to open up the door, and the Contemptors rushed in. Hopefully he's going to kill a couple of those Sisters of Silence. On the right-hand side of the battlefield, the Chaplain and his squad of veterans have moved up towards the Thalax at the bottom of the board. It's risky to get involved in a ranged fight with them, but I can't really let them focus. In the centre of the battlefield, the victorious Praetor and the unit of Justarian have moved to get in close and hopefully finish off those Medusan Immortals and then secure the Thunderhawk. Sons of Horus turn 2 shooting phase. Starting things off, The veterans who just opened the door opened fire at the back left Sister of Silence. Got a total of 5 hits, 4 wounds, but all were passed by the Sister of Silence. Clearly she's a tough one. On the right hand side of the battlefield, not being in range with any of their guns, the veterans decided to run. That run unfortunately became a bit of a shuffle forward, and only an inch was rolled. The Justarin opened up into the Immortals in preparation for charging. The multi-melter predictably missed. Then the bolt pistol and the combi bolters from the Justarin and the Praetor opened up. A lot of shots, however, due to how tough the iron hands are with their +1, effectively +1 toughness against shots from the shooting phase, only 3 wounds were caused and only 1 died. Sons of Horus turn to assault phase. The Justarin have charged into the back of the Immortals. They passed their regroup test, so were able to fire Overwatch. They caused no wounds with the Melters, but managed 1 wound with the Volkite. The armor safe was passed, and the Justarin successfully charged. In the prison complex at the back of the board, the Contemptor has charged 2 Sisters of Silence. Hopefully they'll be able to crush them and free up the Psykers. Barreling through the corridor, the Contemptor predictably crushed both Sisters of Silence into dust. Near the Thunderhawk, the Praetor leapt into the Immortals, scoring a mighty 6 hits from 6 attacks, however only doing 3 wounds. Fortunately, the Immortals failed both their invulnerable saves and their feel no pain saves. 2 Immortals and the Sergeant then swung back. Heroically, 2 hits, a single wound, however the Justarin's armour held. At Initiative 1, the Power Fists and Chain Fists then swung in, comfortably killing the 3 Immortals, with 9 hits from 12 attacks, 7 wounds, and a lot of failed invulnerable saves. Winning the combat, the Justarin then consolidated 5 inches, hoping to arrogantly secure the whole landing pad by themselves.
Loyalists turn to movement. Wow, the Sons of Horus have done a spectacular job from taking out Auticmore and the Immortals. The Justarin now are advancing on the Thunderhawk, and the Mechanicum elements are skirting around the end of the Thunderhawk. We're trying to put as much distance as possible between us and those Justarin. We can only hope now for a lot of the rending attacks from the lightning guns and the photon thrusters with their AP2 to blunt that Justarin squad. If we manage to reduce that squad dramatically, we may have a chance of halting the advance of the veterans and that Contemptor. They've broken into the cells, and they will inevitably free the alpha level psychers at the beginning of their next turn. That will cause a psychic attack, which may help me. I should be far enough away from sustaining that attack, but it's an inevitability for the Sons of Horus. Let's just hope we get some magic rolling for the Mechanicum. At the end of the movement phase, the 2 sisters turn to face their aggressors. They can't do anything about the Contemptor that's about to squash them in the assault phase in the next turn for the Sons of Horus. But they fired their bolt pistols into the vets behind. 1 hit, no wounds. It was definitely worth a try before they get cut down. Shooting for the Loyalists was pretty terrible, I have to say. All of the Thalax fired into the Justarin, got plenty of hits and loads of wounds at AP2, but the Justarin plate held strong and all of the shots were deflected. The Mechanicum are very worried now, so they're going to have to use their thrust moves to full effect to try and split the forces out and to try and get out of the way of that impending charge. Loyalists turn to assault phase. The Thalax unit on the left-hand side of the screen here got a massive 12 inches on their thrust move. It was a bit risky moving them to the side there because the Sons of Horus could either come round and charge them, or they can melt the door in their turn and then maybe get to me in the next few turns. We'll have to see. The Thalax that were under the wing of the Thunderhawk rolled a mighty 6, so they moved back. And the squad on the left-hand side here got a 7 for their thrust move. So we're just getting out of the way of those Sons of Horus. They are an extremely deadly unit, and we do not want to go anywhere near them if we can. Let's see what the Sons of Horus have got for turn 3.
Sons of Horus, turn 3 movement. The cells are open. Using control of both command modules near the prison cells, both doors have been opened and the psychers are now freed. All that stands between me and capturing them are 2 Sisters of Silence. Hopefully they're going to be finished off by the veterans and the Contemptor. On the right hand side of the battlefield, the chaplain and his unit have continued to move up on the right hand flank. They're going to try and make sure the Thalax feel threatened on that side and capture the Thunderhawk. The Justerin, using their dominance of this area of the battlefield, have moved up to try and charge one of the units of Thalax. Sons of Horus, turn 3 shooting phase. Starting off at the back of the board, the Sisters of Silence bravely face the firepower of the Contemptor and the Veteran unit, but plasma weaponry and Kerry's assault cannons were enough to finish them off. However, this now means that both of the alpha level psychers are unchained from the null effects of the Sisters of Silence and will unleash their shriek. Hopefully it doesn't do too much damage. The psycher's shriek rang out throughout the prison complex, hitting the veterans at the back 3 times, the Contemptor twice, and the chaplain and his unit twice. Fortunately, although wounds were caused, the veteran unit at the back didn't take any wounds, the Contemptor didn't take any damage, but 1 Sons of Horus veteran was killed from the chaplain's unit. In the middle of the board, the Justerin fired the multi-melter at the Thalax. A hit was caused, however, no wound. Goes to show that sometimes multi-melters are just for show. Making up for a very weak run last turn, the Sons of Horus veteran unit with the chaplain made a mighty 5-inch run this turn. Sons of Horus, turn 3 assault phase. The Justerin have declared a charge against the unit of Thalax hiding underneath the Thunderhawk's wing. The Thalax passed their reaction fire test and opened up with all their weaponry at full ballistic skill. This did a lot of damage and managed to cause 3 wounds on the Justerin, killing 1 and wounding another. The charge will now be slightly longer. Fighting under the wing, the Justerin have charged into the Thalax. First to strike is the Praetor, Initiative 5. He's done really well so far this game, so I was expecting big things. However, even with all the rerolls he gets, there was only 3 hits and 2 wounds. The Thalax passed one of their feel no pain saves, causing only a single wound to them. This isn't a good start. At Initiative 3, the Thalax then swung back. A mighty 8 attacks led to 5 hits and 2 wounds. However, the Justerin plate held firm. At Initiative 1, the Justerin waded in with their power fists and chain fists, causing a mighty 4 wounds on the Thalax, who then unluckily failed their stubborn Leadership 9 test and ran away. However, they didn't quite run off the board. The Justerin then consolidated 2 inches, which they used to just reinforce their position and protect the Praetor from firepower. End of Sons of Horus turn 3. A really good turn for the Sons. They've been able to really keep the Mechanicum away from that Thunderhawk, which will be crucial if we're able to get the Psychers off the board at the end of the turn.
Mechanicum turn 3 movement. Luckily, the Thalax that fell back at the end of the Sons of Horus turn 3 rallied, so that was really good. They moved 3 inches. They can only snap shoot, but they will have a go at the Justerin. The other squad of Thalax that are around by the refueling point for the Thunderhawk have moved round, and they need to get all of their shots on those Justerin. I need to drop probably 2 in this turn, and that will help relieve the pressure a little bit, although that Praetor is an absolute monster. Their plan will then be to use their thrust move and just put themselves outside of the charge range. The squad on the right hand side, I had a bit of a decision to make. I was going to push them up as far as I can to at least intercept the veterans and the dreadnought as they inevitably come through to the back of the Thunderhawk, but I might as well fire with them first under the wing of the Thunderhawk with their high-powered weaponry, and then retreat back up this corridor to inevitably engage the Sons of Horus elements at the back of the prison here. The Psychic Shriek went off in the last turn when the last Sister of Silence died. It wasn't that effective. I was hoping for a little bit more damage on the Contemptor and both Sons of Horus vets, but it didn't happen. We're in a bit of a desperate struggle. Seems to be a bit of a recurring thing for the Mechanicum, but we will push on relentlessly and remorselessly as only the Mechanicum know how. Loyalists turn 3 shooting phase. Pretty unsuccessful, really. Again, combined firepower from the 3 units of Thalax only managed to put 1 wound on a Justerian despite the AP2 of the photon thrusters. Alistair made some absolutely amazing 4-up Cataphractic Terminator saves. Bit of a shame. All I can do now is get huge thrust moves and just get out of the way of those Justerian. Loyalist turn 3 assault phase. The squad just in front of you here got a massive 11-inch on their thrust move. They're now going to abandon the Justerian because we just cannot do any damage on them. So we're going to try and hold up the Contemptor and the Vets later on in the game. The squad that rallied, they made a 11-inch thrust move and managed to secure themselves just behind this pillar here. The Justerian can't shoot or charge what they can't see, so that's a good effort there. But this squad here only managed a 6, so it's just whether Alistair bothers going after the Thalax or not. He may decide to consolidate back towards the Thunderhawk. But let's find out what he's got.
Sons of Horus, turn 4 movement. At the back of the board, both Psykers have now been freed and have joined the Sons of Horus unit. Thanks to being able to control the command terminal, the door in front of the Contemptor has been opened and it's now prepared to charge and open up that final door. That's all that rests between me and the Thunderhawk. It's going to be a frantic dash to escape now. On the right hand side of the board, the veterans have finally moved up and are now in a position to start threatening the Thalax. With their thrust moves, it really is like herding cats trying to pin these units down. So hopefully with 2 units, I should be able to threaten them a little more. The Justerian seem to be able to weather the firepower quite well from the Thalax, so they're going to hold position and see if the Thalax will move a little bit closer so I can charge them. Sons of Horus, turn 4 shooting phase. Once more, Kerry's assault cannons prove ineffective against doors. However, the grav gun proved the key to opening it with a single glancing hit. Now in a position to threaten the Thalax, the veteran unit opened up with all of their weapons. However, it was a bit wet. The plasma gun caused a single wound, which was a great start, and then the bolters caused 9 hits, but failed to cause a single wound. Sons of Horus, end of turn 4. We have the prize, and we have the Thalax pinned down at the back of the prison complex. It's just going to be a case now of racing to the Thunderhawk.
Loyalist turn 4 movement. The Sons of Horus have got into the prison and they are now escorting those alpha level Psykers to the back of the Thunderhawk. There's not much I can do at the moment. I am going to make a bid for that Contemptor later on, maybe in turn 5, turn 6, but for the moment I am going to have another go at taking down the Justerian. They have proven to be a very, very tough opponent, but we're hoping now that the rolls will come up and we will be able to clinch at least a little bit of dignity left from the landing bay here. Fingers crossed. Loyalist turn 4 shooting. The squad at the back here fired under the wing of the Thunderhawk, clipping the Sons of Horus several times. The photon thruster got 1 hit and 1 wound, but the armour held out on the Justerian. But the weapon did get hot and put a wound on the Thalax. The 3 lightning guns then opened up, got 3 hits and 3 wounds thanks to the shred from the weapon, because I got 2 1s in the 2 wound roll. And it was just enough to take 1 wound off the Justerian at the back there. So that's a really great start. And now we're going to move on to the 2 Thalax squads in front. The squad of 3 Thalax opened up with their lightning gun and the 2 lightning guns and the photon thruster. One of the photon thruster shots got hot, but the armour was passed by the Thalax. All 3 shots hit and wounded, but again, Alistair made some amazing 4-up armour saves, and that sergeant of the Justerian is standing proud. Finally, the squad of 4 Thalax opened up into the Justerian under the wing. 2 photon thruster shots went in. 1 hit, 1 got hot, but the armour was saved on the Thalax. But again, Alistair made an amazing 4-up invulnerable save. Then there was 3 lightning gun shots that went in, all hit. 2 wounds, and thankfully a 1 was rolled, and that killed the sergeant from the Justerian there, leaving only the Praetor and 1 Justerian on 2 wounds. In an ideal world, I would have loved there to have just been the Praetor stood, but I'll take that. I'm now going to do some thrust moves. Loyalist turn 4 assault phase. All that's left to do is the thrust moves from the Thalax cohorts. This unit here moved 7 inches up in their thrust move. Their plan is to head the dreadnought off as they make their way down to the back of the Thunderhawk gunship. We are going to try and salvage this mission as much as possible. The 3 Thalax at the end here managed a 4-inch thrust move, just bringing them into cover so they are unable to be shot at or charged. And this unit on the left got a 5-inch. I think they're out of charge range from the Sons of Horus. They may take a few shots from the vets on the left-hand side, but that was fairly minimal from last turn. It is looking grim for the Mechanicum, but if we can do a heroic charge against that dreadnought, we might be able to stop the Psykers from being taken out of the prison.
Sons of Horus, turn 5 movement. In the centre of the battlefield, with the Psykers secured, the veterans and Contemptor have made their way as quickly as possible towards the Thunderhawk and the exit. From underneath the Thunderhawk, the Justerian and the Praetor have made their way towards the Thalax. It's going to be a big charge, 10 inches, but it's worth a go if they can delay that Thalax unit. On the other side of the battlefield, the veteran squad have moved up to try and threaten the Thalax unit with their shooting. It wasn't great last turn, but hopefully with the plasma gun and other plasma weaponry, we might be able to pick off a few more wounds. In the centre of the board, both the Contemptor and the veterans ran. Now, the Contemptor only got a paltry 2 inches with its run move. If it's not going to put the effort in when it's running, it doesn't deserve to be in the train. So it's got out the way and it's going to threaten those Thalax. Inevitably they're going to kill it, but it will hopefully kill a couple on its way down. The veterans, again, got an incredible 6-inch run, so they'll hopefully next turn be able to get on board that Thunderhawk with the Psykers. Feeling lucky, the Praetor took a shot at the back of the Thalax. A hit caused no wounds. At the back of the board, the veterans opened up into the Thalax. They needed to make up for a very wet shooting phase last turn, and boy did they. The plasma gun predictably caused a single wound on the Thalax, and then the bolters did some work. 9 shots, 8 hits, 5 wounds needing 5s. Absolutely incredible. Then, through a combination of failed armour saves and failed feel no pains, the Thalax took 4 wounds. That meant that the unit killed 2 Thalax. The Thalax did pass the leadership check, but I'm incredibly happy with that. The Praetor then attempted a very long bomb charge in the Thalax. The Thalax fortunately failed their reaction fire test, and although they scored a single hit with the photon thruster, there was no wounds. I then needed a 10-inch charge. The unit only rolled a 5, so nothing happened. End of Sons of Horus turn 5. It's really desperate now. The Psykers are within touching distance of the Thunderhawk, but I really need the game to go to turn 6 to stand any chance of getting them off the battlefield.
Loyalist, turn 5 movement phase. I need the game to end on turn 5, then we have prevented the Psykers getting off board. So we need a lucky roll at the end of the turn. But I am going to play as if there was a turn 6. So my plan so far is that the Thalax on this side have moved up. They are going to shoot everything they have into that Contemptor, and then we're going to make our charge with our melter bombs. I would love to be able to take that out with the Thalax. Hopefully we can weather the Overwatch, because that AP4 of the Carey's Patent Assault Cannon is absolutely devastating to Thalax. I've had enough shooting at the Praetor and the Justerian, so the 2 Thalax units at the bottom of the board here have moved to try and engage the veteran tactical squad. There's a couple of plasma guns in there, and the bolters are mincing the Thalax up, so they're just going to try and blunt them a little bit, and then in turn 6 they will either fire into the Sons of Horus again, or they will try and take out the Justerian. But as I said, we're not too worried about them at the moment. Wish me luck. I need some absolute magic on this turn. Loyalist, turn 5 shooting. The 2 lightning guns from the squad in front here shot in and killed one of the Sons of Horus. The photon thruster managed to get 2 1s, so it got hot, but failed the armor save on the Thalax. I really needed that because it probably would have killed 2 more Sons of Horus. And then the 2 Thalax on the left here, both shot into the Sons of Horus, killing one of them. So 2 from 10 on that veteran squad. Not too bad, but not amazing. The photon thrusters and the lightning guns opened up into the Sons of Horus Contemptor. There was a lot of hits that went through, and I managed to get 1 penetrate, a 1 glancing hit on that Contemptor. But Alistair unbelievably made both 5-up invulnerable saves. I would have liked to have at least taken 1 hull point off before I charged it, because I'm probably going to lose maybe 2 Thalax on the way in from Overwatch from the Contemptor. So then I'd only have 2 melter bombs. But we'll have to see how lucky we get. Other than that, that's the shooting for the Thalax. I'm just going to do that charge on the Contemptor and then the thrust moves at the end of the turn. Loyalist, turn 5 assault phase. The Thalax made their charge with a 10-inch roll of the dice and made it in contact with the Contemptor. It did pass its reaction fire test and got 4 hits against the Thalax, causing 2 wounds on the lead Thalax that went in. I made a couple of saves, which was really great. We will now wait for the Contemptor to attack, and then we'll strike with our melter bombs. The Contemptor struck at initiative 4 with its chain fist. 3 attacks, got 1 hit and 1 kill. Great news for the Thalax. We now have 3 melter bombs against the Contemptor. Finally, some success for the Thalax. 2 melter bombs were successfully clamped to the side of the Contemptor, exploding it and destroying it, which was fantastic news. The explosion then clipped all 3 Thalax, no wounds caused, and it clipped 5 of the Sons of Horus and managed to kill 1 of them with the plasma gun. So, on the whole, really pleased. I was very worried about charging that Contemptor. All that remains to do now is the thrust moves on the Thalax next to the Thunderhawk. At the back of the board, the unit on the left-hand side managed a massive 11-inch thrust move, and the unit on the right only managed a 2-inch thrust move. But it might be enough just to stave off the attacks from the Sons of Horus. On the whole, I'm fairly pleased about the end of the turn. As it stands, the Sons of Horus have not been successful getting those Psykers to the Thunderhawk, despite their absolutely devastating attack on the facility. We're now going to roll to see if the game goes to turn 6. This is the roll for turn 6. Alistair really needs this roll so he can move his Sons of Horus in contact with that Thunderhawk.
Just going to visualise it like a cataphractly save. Here we go.
Oh, god
Brilliant.
damn.
Brilliant.
I really wanted it to end.
I know you did. I could see it in your eyes.
All right, let's go to Sons of Horus, turn 6.
Sons of Horus, turn 6 movement. Incredibly lucky to get into turn 6. In the centre of the board, the Sons of Horus with the Psykers have made a final dash to the Thunderhawk. I'm now 6 inches away from the back of it. That means I need a 3-inch run move this turn. Fingers crossed I can do it. Elsewhere on the battlefield, the Justarian and the Praetor have moved towards the Thunderhawk, awaiting extraction, as have the veteran squad on the right-hand side, though they will take some pot shots at the Thalax on their way out. Sons of Horus, turn 6 shooting. Hoping to replicate the success of last turn, the veterans once more opened up into the Thalax. However, this time it was disastrous. Thanks to being in cover, the Thalax survived the shot from the plasma gun, and then no wounds were caused by bolter shots. Now we come to the centre of the battlefield. I really need to get the Psykers into the Thunderhawk. However, I am worried about the Thalax coming up from behind me. They'll be able to shoot me and charge me. Hopefully I can fend them off though. However, first of all, I really need to get that 3-inch run. That's a 5. Plenty of room. End of Sons of Horus turn 6, and the final moves of the Sons of Horus for the game. They've been able to get the Psykers to the Thunderhawk. However, I have to weather one more turn of Thalax shooting. So far, it hasn't proven that effective, but now they'll be firing at slightly more squishy veterans. It might go significantly worse for me. We'll have to see what happens.
Loyalists, turn 6, movement phase. Wow, those Loyalists have done an absolutely amazing job on this mission. They've come in, outflanked, smashed apart the Iron Hands, and now have put a massive dent into the Mechanicum. However, we are going to make one last-ditched attempt to try and stop those psychers being taken out of this complex. And the Thalax have come up behind. Hopefully I can get some photon thruster shots off into that unit and then charge them. And that might tie them up on turn 6, and that will prevent them from embarking onto that Thunderhawk. The 3 Thalax that are on the left-hand side here have popped out. They're going to use the range of that photon thruster to shoot into the back of that Sons of Horus squad, further reducing its distance away from the back of the Thunderhawk. Remember, the Sons of Horus have only got to be 3 inches away from the Thunderhawk to assume that they've embarked upon it. And finally, the 2 remaining Thalax on the left-hand side have popped out to cause a distraction against the veterans there, whilst the shooting of the other veteran squad happens. You know, we've really tried our hardest to prevent the Sons of Horus getting out of this prison, but it's looking a little bit desperate right now. Loyalist turn 6 shooting. 2 Thalax shot into the veterans in front of them with their lightning guns. Only got 1 hit, but 1 was a rend, and due to the Jinn sight, it was a -2 on the cover, annihilating 1 of the veterans. It was enough, though, to cause a distraction before the other 2 units shoot at the veterans with the alpha level psychers. The photon thruster in this squad fired into the back of the Sons of Horus, got 1 hit, and 1 gets hot. The gets hot wound was failed, and it managed to kill the Thalax that shot with the photon thruster because he had 2 wounds already, which was just the story of my life, really. I did pass a leadership test, though, because they technically suffered 25% from casualties. However, the shot went in, but Alistair amazingly made his 6-up cover save. This guy can roll no wrong in this game. Finally, some decent shooting here from the Thalax at the back. 2 lightning guns went in and killed a veteran. And then the photon thruster amazingly hit twice, wounded twice, and killed 2 of the Sons of Horus. Unfortunately, though, they passed their leadership test. All that remains to do now is that squad needs to charge them and tie them up in combat, and then they are technically contested and not getting on the back of that Thunderhawk. Loyalist turn 6 assault phase, and this last turn of the game is just the absolute epitome of my effort so far in this campaign. The Thalax declared a charge against the Sons of Horus. They passed their reactionary fire test. They hit 10 times with their bolters, caused 5 wounds, and the saves of the lead Thalax was failed, including their Feel No Pain. That then increased their charge to a 9-inch charge, and I rolled a 5, failing to contact the Sons of Horus. This means that the Sons of Horus have made it within 3 inches of the Thunderhawk. They will then embark in the ensuing phase afterwards and leave the prison with their captives and the Raven Guard Thunderhawk. What an amazing job. Alistair, the Sons of Horus made it out of the prison complex.
Yeah.
Holy balls is all I have to say to that.
It was touch and go for a couple of moments there. If you hadn't have failed that charge, if it hadn't gone to turn 6, they wouldn't have made it. But yeah, they just scraped through by the skin of their teeth.
That last assault phase where the veterans passed their reaction fire, overwatched into the Thalax and peeled out the first Thalax, and then I failed the charge. I mean, that's classic Zone Mortalis.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, for me as well, actually, I kind of completely forgot about reaction fire a couple of times, and then I kind of would do a charge and be like, oh, wait, no, this is terrible.
It's such a great rule, you know. You almost want to bring it into normal 30k, and it'd be quite good. But you know, because Spacemen are supposed to have lightning reflexes and all that, and anyway, it proved absolutely critical for Alistair, and he made it to within 3 inches of the back of that Thunderhawk. We can then assume that the Sons of Horus embarked with the Alpha level Psychers. The Justarian and the Praetor got on board.
The single Justarian.
Yeah. It took nearly the whole game to take that unit down, but they walked all over that board, didn't they?
Oh yeah, absolutely. For someone in Cataphracti play, they got to a lot of places.
I really struggled with the hits from the photon thrusters. I said to Alistair whilst we were playing midway through the game, I maybe should have took multi-melters, because at least if I was hitting into wounding and he was failing, it was killing a Justarian outright rather than putting a wound on.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I went for weight of firepower, and I wanted the blind checks to reduce weapon skill, ballistic skill. But it has to say, Alistair's invulnerable saves throughout the game were unbelievable. Even on the dreadnought as well, your invulnerable saves.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was obscene.
Oh god,
like, I felt like I was doing a bad thing to you.
Yeah, it was a bad thing. It was a bad thing. But yeah, absolutely phenomenal rolling there from Alistair. I think I did a reasonable job kind of surrounding and getting in there. But, you know, I've brought back Ortec more because in the games that I normally use him, he is absolutely phenomenal. But you just cut him down with a Paragon Blade. First turn, off.
It doesn't matter how good you are. If you get instant death, that's it.
And that's why Praetors or any sort of model with high attacks with the Paragon Blade is definitely worth taking. That opportunistic 6, and you're doing the Warlord, you know.
Yeah.
Amazing job. I usually run Ortic Moor in a challenge called Challenge the Channel. It's about 1865 points in Zone Mortalis. It's a very specific mission. It's where Ortic Moor is accompanied by 3 Iron Hands Immortal squads and 2 Contemptor dreadnoughts. And essentially, you need to bring the toughest, hardest force you can possibly bring and assault the, I guess, the bunker of the Iron Hands Immortals. And all those games are on the 30kchannel.com. So they've not been released on YouTube. So it's really worth watching those games because Ortic Moor is an absolute monster in those games. I think for me, the most critical thing was by losing Ortic Moor was that he gave Fearless to the squad.
Yes, that would have really kind of held up the Justarian, even for one more turn, would have been really significant. Yeah,
and I think it then would have created a bit of a bottleneck. It would have prevented the Justarian running into the complex with the Thunderhawk. It may have slowed them down, but you've obviously brought back your Justarian.
How could I not, realistically? They were absolutely incredible. You know, in many ways, I think it was a game of 2 halves, because it felt like in the first half, a lot happened.
Yeah.
You know, like just Contemptors were dying, units were dying all over the place, you know, Sisters of Silence were being slaughtered. And then in the second half of the game, it very much became a game of cat and mouse, of me trying to, you know, race towards the Thunderhawk with the Psychers and then trying to pin down those Salax. But with a unit that can't run, it was really hard. But unfortunately, you just weren't able to strip the wounds off the Justarians. So kind of for that reason, they were really useful in both halves of the game. The first half for kind of just doing a lot of the destruction, and the second half for resisting a lot of the firepower. So yeah, they were great.
Yeah, the Sons of Horus did an amazing job. It just proved how elite that army is, you know, with the vets, the 2 dreadnoughts. That dreadnought combat at the beginning between the Iron Hands dreadnought and the Sons of Horus, it was a double knockout, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was.
But it was absolutely brilliant. You know, we've seen games on Challenge the Channel where Contemptors have got to each other and they've just knocked around each other for 4 turns and not done anything. But this was just a quick boff.
Well, it was both of us having chain fists that was just the kind of clincher, really.
Yeah, that double armor pen, you know, 2 dice,
absolutely,
strength 10 is an absolute killer. I really hope you've enjoyed this game. I think out of the 3 games so far, this was the most heavily narrative storytelling mission. Yeah. Thanks to Philip Ledbetter again for lending us the 2 alpha level psychers plus the Sisters of Silence. They really helped tell this story. I really enjoyed it. I think it was really cool when the Sisters died, that the power that the Psychers were held back by the Sister Silence null field, it just exploded out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
that was kind of cool.
I was very lucky it didn't do more damage, actually. Yeah, because you rolled relatively low on the kind of D6s.
Story of my life.
Yeah, I know. You should have just pretended you were rolling my vulnerable saves. You would have rolled nothing but 6s.
It would have been fine.
Yeah.
But it was a really cool mission. It was a mission where the Sons of Horus garnered information from the Thunderhawk, which led them to the moon base, which then led them to this underground complex, which then evolved into what looked like a collaborative effort from the Raven Guard, the Mechanicum, the Iron Hands to get these alpha level Psychers to Terra, and the Justarian thought, the Sons of Horus thought, well, we could have those for Horus and take them back.
Yeah.
So their mission evolved whilst they were on the fly. They adapted. And they took hold of that Raven Guard ship.
Absolutely, yeah.
So they'll be flying incognito through space, disguised as the Raven Guard. But now this game will lead on to the next game, Game 4. Yeah. We've got 2,000 points.
2,000 points, and this time it will be an open battle.
Yeah.
So, you know, whereas we've had kind of Centurion at the start, which is very infantry-based, Scout, which is kind of light tanks with some infantry, Zone Mortalis now, and then next game will be a big 2,000 point kind of 6x4.
Yeah.
open plane kind of game.
The Mechanicum are hopefully going to redeem themselves. I have a ton of tanks, which is where my army's built around. It's a reductor force, so it has a lot of tanks in, a lot of high-powered, low-AP weaponry. So hopefully they will be enough to tip the edge on the Sons of Horus. And it is quite a fast-moving army. Each tank can move 12 and fire. So we'll have a 6x4. Remember, we're fighting on the Black Sands. This is the harvest of the Black Sands. So hopefully that name will lead on into the next mission. We do have an idea, so don't worry about that too much. But it will be as story-driven as the story we've just told today.
Well, I mean, Heresy is such a narrative game that it's been really fun to kind of just really explore that side of things. Absolutely.
So next game, 2,000 points on a 6x4. There's going to be tanks, a ton of infantry. We're going to see those jet bikes and the normal bikes out from the Sons of Horus, I'd imagine. Have you got any other units that you might be including?
Hopefully there'll be a Spartan and a Venator to come along. It depends if I can get stuff finished. But yeah, Spartan and Venators on my hit list to paint.
That'll be cool. That'll be really cool. Remember, if you've watched this game before the other two, please go back to YouTube and watch the other two games. They really set this story up, and it tells a story about how we got here today. So it's definitely worth watching. And the title you're looking for on YouTube is The Harvest on the Black Sands, Game 1, Game 2. And obviously this is Game 3. Thank you so much to Alistair. He's come all the way from Birmingham. You had a late night last night. You were at a rock concert or something,
I was, yeah, Employed to Serve. Fantastic UK hardcore band. Was there. I didn't get back to Birmingham until 1 in the morning, so technically I've only been there today rather than yesterday.
Oh my god! I picked him up from the station in Huntingdon this morning, and he looked a little bit bleary-eyed, but he's done a good job.
Well, yeah, I usually kind of get through to about 3 o'clock and then start to crumble a bit. So I think from the rest of the evening I'll be staring dead-eyed at
No painting tonight.
Yeah, just kind of staring at walls, I guess.
Absolutely. So thank you to Alistair for the effort he's put in here for coming in today. It's a long old trip from Birmingham, but we got him here and got him for the mission, which was great. I've taken a ton of photos from this game. So to see those photos, please go to the Facebook page. They will be released when this game has been uploaded to YouTube. Also, Alistair is on Instagram, as is the channel. So where can we find you?
My Instagram is just my name, so it's just Alistair McMillan.
Fantastic.
Which I'm sure you'll kind of flash up.
If I've done my job right. I say that every time. I haven't missed it just yet, but there's always that one chance. But that will pop on the bottom. And of course, you can follow what the channel does between now and the rest of the week. Also, don't forget that every month, if you subscribe to the website, there is, at the moment, 5 games a month. You get 4 Horus Heresy games and 1 Adeptus Titanicus game. But this game will be released in May time, maybe June. And don't forget, by then, the channel will be putting out at least 7 to 9 games of Heresy a month. So the channel is absolutely the place to go for Horus Heresy. So once you've watched this, please go to the channel and subscribe. There is a 3-day free trial, so you can have a test, look at what variety of games is on there. There'll be over 100 Horus Heresy games on there to watch by the time this game goes out. So that is a ton of games to catch up on. One other thing to mention is you can obviously follow the channel on Facebook and Instagram, and that just keeps you abreast of what's going on. I always take a photo of games and post them up so you can see what's coming up in the next few months. So please go and subscribe. It's £4.50 a month, and you get at least 5 to 7 to 9 games a month. So less than... Oh, I tried to do maths last time.
Yeah. If it's 9 games, it's 50p.
I was about to say, it's about 50p a game. So I'm sure you can buy me a coffee a month, and that will support your heresy addiction. So that's all good.
Support your coffee addiction as well.
Well, exactly right. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed it. I've had an absolute blast.
Me too.
Thank you so much.
No worries.
And we'll see you in Game 4.